Adrenaline in myself. Every time I jump, do it all to get them off the feet. The crowd is here, about to blow. Wait for me to start the show. Out the curtain, let's go up. Oh, whoa. Come on, man. Of course, obviously, my first choice of my main event is going to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the world title. That was Vince McMahon's plan. That was his plan before he retired. His plan was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. But his goal was to have that match at SummerSlam. But Cody Rhodes got hurt, so they had to replace him with Brock Lesnar. So that's why we had our last Brock match with Roman. That's why they called back Brock so soon, because Cody Rhodes got hurt. But going on after that, Vince's plan was to give Cody Rhodes his big moment at next year's WrestleMania. That's what I've read everywhere, not just one website. I read that on damn near 20-something websites, so I dare you to tell me I'm fucking wrong. That was Vince's game plan for next year's WrestleMania. Book Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the world title. That was his plan before he retired. And I still think Triple H will go through with that game plan. If you saw that match between Roman and Drew Mac, they showed a Cody Rhodes promo of him telling you he wants to be the world champion. Do you think they just did that for the fun of it, you damn idiots? That was a seed that was planted. Why do you think they showed that promo before the goddamn match? They were telling you Drew Mac was not winning. They were telling you that title is going to belong to Cody Rhodes by next year. Hence why I was making tons and tons of videos telling you Drew Mac is not winning. Do you think I make videos just to get views? No, I make videos to put information out there that you should learn. I was literally the only YouTuber telling you Drew Mac was not winning. Everybody was saying Drew Mac was going to beat Roman, but I was the only one who had the balls to make multiple videos telling you he's not going to win. It's going to be Cody fucking Rhodes. I said this match is like a goddamn house show. And it was. In hindsight, that match was a glorified fucking house show. And now you look stupid because you thought Drew Mac was going to win. I didn't. I said if he wins, that would be bad for business. Look up that video where I said it. Those exact same words. I said if he beats Roman, that would be bad for business. And he didn't. But overall, yes, I would have Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns. Why? That's the only top guy Roman Reigns hasn't faced. We have never seen that match before. So you have to save it for WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes is gonna win the goddamn World Rumble. That's how we get that match. Why? Dog, he's a top 2 guy in the world right now. So common sense, you book him against Roman Reigns, the guy who's won in this world. He is a top guy in the damn company. So common sense, top 2 guys have to main event WrestleMania. That's common sense. There's nobody else worthy enough to face Roman on that kind of a big stage. Drew Mac, he's done. There's nobody else. Cody is the only logical choice. A logical choice. But That's my main event. But that's my main event for night 2. Night 1 main event, it has to be Roman Reigns versus Dwayne Johnson. That should be night 1 main event. Of course, I would have Rock lose that match, but that match has to be night 1. So night 1 will be Rock and Reigns. 2 will be Cody and Reigns. I don't mind Roman doing double duty. Like, why not? He is their biggest draw, so why not? That makes sense. So, who would I have Brock Lesnar face? Because look. We all know you can't have a WrestleMania without Brock actually being there. So, who would I have Brock face? My first choice would be Edge. Have it a face versus face matchup. I don't think Brock has ever faced Edge. Like, ever. Not that I know of. Like 10 years ago, I've never seen those guys face off one-on-one. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've never seen those guys face off. Now, here is our last chance to see these guys face off. Why not? Brock versus Edge. I feel like that matchup would be very, very interesting. Or, here is my plan B. If they don't book Brock and Edge, I would book Brock versus Matt Riddle. Even though Brock does not like Matt Riddle, I'm sure maybe Riddle has kind of won him over. But if they were to have that match, of course, Riddle ain't winning. There's no way in hell Brock is putting over Matt Riddle. I feel like if they were to face off, Riddle has to lose. That's the only way we will have Brock actually agree to face him. Brock has to go over that match. But I feel like those are his two options. Either Edge or Matt Riddle. Me, if it was my choice, of course, Edge, he is my first option. I would love to see Brock versus Edge. I feel like that would be just really fucking interesting. Based on the promos and the storyline, where would that storyline go? Who would be the face and who would be the heel? I feel like that is a WrestleMania match. That's a dream match for me. Brock and Edge. Look, this is the match that I would book. I would book Drew Mac versus Gunther the Ring General. I feel like that is a low-key dream match based on those guys are both from the UK. Both are big dudes. Both are very, very physical. That is a WrestleMania matchup. Drew Mac and the Ring General. That would be a dream match for WrestleMania. Because both guys are not similar, so that would make that match great. So, who would I book the Usos against? Of course, I would book the Usos against Solo and Sami Zayn. I feel like that should be saved for WrestleMania. Because look, when those guys lose those tag team titles, it has to be on a big stage. And seeing this long-term storyline between Jay and Sami, I see it ending with Solo and Sami taking those tag team titles. Because when they lose, it has to be on a big stage. That match will have a lot of story to it. So that match has to happen at WrestleMania. Like, dude, every week these guys are beefing. But Solo, it seems like he's on the side of Sami Zayn. So I see Sami and Solo taking those tag team titles. Because it seems like Jay is not getting it. Jay is the only one in that group who has a problem with Sami Zayn. And eventually Solo is going to step in and feel like Jay is out of line. So I see them taking those tag team titles. So who do I see Seth facing? Seth Rollins. I would book Seth Rollins against AJ Styles. I feel like that is a WrestleMania worthy match. Like, I don't think AJ and Seth have ever faced off at a pay-per-view. So I figured, okay, make that match for WrestleMania. I feel like those guys would have great chemistry. I feel like that would be a great feud. Great feud to sell, especially with the Good Brothers being involved. That would be a very interesting matchup with Seth Rollins versus the OC. That would be a great matchup that should be saved for WrestleMania. Now, who would I have Bray Wyatt face? I would have him face Finn Balor. I feel like now they have kind of switched roles. Bray, it feels like he's a face and Finn is a heel. So now they have kind of switched places. Now it's a very different dynamic. See, Bray and Finn will match up very, very well, especially because both are still dark characters. Like, I would love to see Bray versus the Judgment Day. That would be a very interesting matchup, especially will he do tons of supernatural shit during that feud? So I feel like that would be a very, very dark feud. Because now Finn, it's like, man, I would love to see Finn as a heel, man, against Bray Wyatt. Now it's like, man, that would be very fucking interesting. Because he is no longer Smiley Finn. Now he's an evil heel. Evil heel now. I want to see that version of Finn against this version of Bray Wyatt. Because now the tables have turned now. Now it's like they have different roles, man. I want to see Bray versus the Judgment Day. I want to see what kind of mind games he will play against that group. That would be very, very interesting. Look, that match has to happen at WrestleMania. Finn and Bray, Part 2. Now Finn is evil. Bray is still evil, but he's good. We got to make that match happen at WrestleMania. Now, who would I have Charlotte Flair face? Like obviously, this is a no-brainer. I would have her face Bianca Belair. That's like, come on, man, common sense. You have the top two girls in that whole company. All right, save that matchup for WrestleMania. So that's who I would have Charlotte Flair face. I would have her face Bianca Belair. Now, who would I have Ronda face? I would have Ronda face Becky Lynch. That's the matchup that we didn't get, like 4 years ago? So I feel like, okay, we should do a do-over. Save that matchup for WrestleMania. Because obviously, Ronda will be a heel. Becky will be a face. That will be the matchup that we couldn't get 4 years ago. So I say, okay, let's have a do-over. Do that matchup at WrestleMania to finally shut people up and stop fucking crying. All right? Save that matchup for WrestleMania. And then shut the fuck up. Now, who would I have Karrion Kross face at WrestleMania? I would have Karrion Kross face Sheamus. I feel like that's the perfect matchup for Sheamus. Both guys are very, very fucking physical. I feel like that would be a very, very interesting feud. That would be a hard-hitting matchup. both guys are like similar size, they match up perfectly. So I would have Cross face Sheamus at WrestleMania. A regular, standard, hard-hitting, one-on-one matchup. That would be a great match that I would book at WrestleMania. Now, who would I have Matt Riddle face if he can't get Brock Lesnar? I would have him face Randy Orton. Because, look, when Orton comes back, look, I think this guy is going to turn on Matt Riddle. It's just a matter of time, really. It's a matter of time. It's just a matter of when. When will he finally turn on Matt Riddle? So, who would I have the Miz face? I would have the Miz face Kevin Owens. I feel like that would be a very, very interesting feud. And, like, honestly, I don't think those guys ever had a feud. So, and both guys both have talk shows, so I feel like that would be very, very interesting if they were to feud and have a match at WrestleMania. I feel like that match should happen based on the fact that KO, look, I think he finally realized that he is a face, okay? Let's just be real, man. That audience would never boo him. So it gets to a point where I think he realized, look, man, I am a face. Seriously. So look, they tried to turn him heel like two months ago, but it ain't gonna work. KO is a face. But The Miz, he is a lifelong heel, so now we have our matchup. A heel Miz versus a face KO. I feel like that match should happen at WrestleMania. I feel like they will have a very fun feud because both guys can talk their ass off. So I feel, okay, save that matchup for WrestleMania. They will have a very, very interesting feud on Raw for weeks and weeks and weeks. So who would I have Bobby Lashley face? I would have Bobby Lashley face Bron Breakker. Both guys are very similar, and this would be a great showcase for Bron. Because I felt like eventually Bron will be caught up soon. So if you want Bron to make a big splash, have that big splash against a top star that's very similar, and that's Bobby Lashley. I feel like that will be a great WrestleMania showcase for Bron. Have Lashley, put him over, boom. A star will be born. If Bron beats Lashley, man, he will be a made man on Raw or SmackDown. He will be a made man. I feel like that is a perfect matchup for Bron Breakker to make himself into a star for the casuals who don't know him. Dog, that's a perfect matchup. Face versus face, that's perfect. Because the audience will cheer both guys. This will be a showcase matchup for Bron Breakker. Lashley, man, that's the perfect opponent. Dog, these two guys are very, very similar. So you put that matchup at WrestleMania. Because look, man, we have to make some stars, man. We have to make stars at WrestleMania. We can't stop bullshitting around. They have to call up some guys from NXT and give them a showcase matchup for WrestleMania. That's what WrestleMania should be made for. Guys like a Bron Breakker. He needs to be put over at WrestleMania as the next guy. So that is my WrestleMania card for next year. Bron versus Lashley. Man, that is a dream matchup for a Bron Breakker to break out as the next big star. All right, I'm done.